computer science session here with Binghamton University. I'm so happy to see a lot of you were admitted, and this is getting down to that decision time. I'm Craig Broccoli with the admissions team. I actually am a graduate of the Watson School of Engineering. I'm the New York City-based admissions counselor, and right behind me is Binghamton University Nature Preserve. I'm based in New York City, so many of you we've crossed paths before, but I'll let our array of panelists introduce themselves quickly, but you'll hear a lot more from them as we go through this session. But I'll let you take it away, Doug, on your half.
Hi, everyone. My name is Doug Harrington. I am another admissions counselor here for Binghamton University. I am specifically the Watson liaison here for the office, so I do work closely with both the engineering departments and the computer science department. So I've been here at Binghamton for 3 years now professionally, and I was also a student here. I did graduate in 16 and 17 respectively with my bachelor's and master's in business. So I've been here for a while and looking forward to answering any questions that you guys have.
And Doug will be on the Q&A chat there. I know a lot of you are going to have plenty of questions. We have a lot of time to get into that. We'll have a chat hour right after this. I'll tell you more information about that towards the end, a live chat hour. So try to keep some of your questions towards the end so we have time to address those that we probably will cover in the presentation. But also joining us today, we have Professor Eileen Head, if you want to just introduce yourself real quickly.
Hi, I'm the undergraduate director for computer science. I'm head in computer science, not head of computer science. So I'll look forward to meeting you in the fall.
Great, thank you. And we'll go down the line with some of our students. Just introduce yourself, any areas of study, even outside of computer science in your year of study. So Shania?
Hi everyone, I'm Shania Mahmood. I'm a senior in computer science.
Great. Nicholas?
Hi, I'm Nick Pellegrino. I'm a sophomore and I'm a double major in computer science and math.
Awesome. Allison?
Hi everybody, my name's Allison Garrity. I'm a junior in computer science.
And Henry?
Hi all, I'm Henry. I'm a junior in computer science and math.
Great. Jordan?
Hey everyone, I'm Jordan. I'm a senior in computer science.
Colin, it's your turn.
Hi, I'm Colin. I'm a senior and I'm studying computer science and history.
And Michelle?
Hi everyone, I'm a senior in computer science.
Great. So we're going to have plenty of students here, current students, to help answer some of those questions you have coming in. You have time to just type them into the Q&A section down at the bottom. At this time, I'm going to share screen and show a little bit of a background of Binghamton University with where computer science fits in. You know, as many of you know, Binghamton University is a top-tier public research university, a premier public, an R1 research university, as well as being regarded as one of the public Ivies, right? We bring in a lot of talented students from all over the world, 100+ countries, all 50 states, many of the best and brightest around, particularly in the Northeast. Now, coming into Binghamton means you're part of a university with 6 colleges. So the Watson School of Engineering is one of those colleges. And inside of the Watson School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, we have computer science. And that is a highly sought after major. When you look at how it blends into Binghamton, and our students are going to share a lot about that, it really gives you some solid versatility, both professionally, but also when you go out there as problem solvers into this future, that you have a lot of skill sets and networks built into your undergraduate experience to help you solve some of those crucial problems that we're dealing with. Now, we have a quick video I want to share with you from the Dean of the School of Engineering. So just give me a moment and I'll put this on play.
Congratulations. I'm Hari Srihari, Dean of the Thomas J. Watson School of Engineering and Applied Sciences. These are unusual circumstances. I'm unable to meet with you in person. I'm delighted to be able to speak with you virtually. I'm proud and humbled to be part of an organization that continues to make groundbreaking discoveries that propel the world forward. And our work in building the Watson School into a world-class institution has not gone unnoticed. The achievements of our faculty, students, staff, and our alumni are receiving more recognition. For example, we are consistently ranked among the top engineering schools in the world. We dedicated a state-of-the-art engineering and science building as part of the Innovative Technologies Complex. And we are renovating our existing engineering building to meet the challenges of the 21st century. A Watson education focuses on finding solutions to real-world problems through hands-on, team-based projects. Taking part in these projects will give you a competitive edge in graduate school or in the job market. I hope you will choose to become part of Watson's legacy. Congratulations again.
Great, and we have a moment to actually dive a little deeper now into what computer science is at Binghamton University specifically. I know some of you have done your due diligence and did your research and know exactly what CS is, but we'll hear from one of our students and hear what she thinks of computer science in about 60 seconds.
Hi, I'm Julie. I'm from Syracuse, New York, and I'm going to tell you about computer science at Binghamton University in 60 seconds. The reason I chose my major is because computer science allows you to go into any field and also continuously be learning. My favorite class so far has been data structures and algorithms because it teaches me important concepts for technical interviews and is the reason that I've gotten my first internship at Google this summer. Some of the clubs that you can be involved in on campus includes HackBU, which is an organization that does weekly workshops on coding skills, as well as hosts an annual hackathon every year where you can compete against other students and develop your own projects. One thing that has surprised me about my major is how supportive both the faculty and other students are when it comes to working on classwork or developing your own projects and ideas. In 5 to 10 years, I hope to have found what exactly I want to do in terms of either research or going into industry and be doing meaningful work in that area. And that's been Computer Science in 60 Seconds at Binghamton University.
Short and sweet, and now I think we can dive a little bit deeper into what the nature of the CS program is and sort of looking at more of the overarching goals of the program. And I'm going to ask if you can join us in here, Professor Head, if you want to shed some light on this and your take on this. I know you've been involved with the program for a number of years and you have some good insight you want to share with our admitted students. So take it away.
Okay. One of the most important points of the program is that this program prepares you not only for a successful career, but a lifetime in learning. The most important thing in any major you pick is to pick a major that you want to learn about. Then after that, you can always follow up. In computer science, you learn problem-solving skills. This includes strong math background. We do programming, a lot of programming, but programming is not computer science. But programming allows you to express your ideas, and that is why there's a lot of high-paying jobs in computer science. One of the nice things about computer science versus software engineering or other degrees like IT is that we have a lot of hardware software integration. So you understand not only how to write programs and coming up with the algorithms, but you understand why it works underneath the hardware. We pride ourselves on very good communication skills. Students learn how to talk to one another and professionals and present their ideas. And of course, we integrate a lot of teamwork. As you'll find out from the students, it's a very supportive setting. All the students tend to help one another, and it's really, really great to see how well they succeed. All our required core courses have a 3-hour lecture and an hour-and-a-half lab. So you get a lot of extensive hands-on experience, not just programming, but also doing other projects together. As you'll hear from our students here, and of course, Julie was another example, many students get paid internships, paid research opportunities. The first year is very, very, very flexible. Some people come in with no programming, and they could be extremely successful. And our first programming course uses Python. And then the second course, which is the first required course, is hardware-based, so you understand why computers work the way they do. And this is a little unusual for a lot of computer science programs. If you come in and you've done a lot of programming, you'll just start immediately with the hardware course. And our second course is programming objects and data structures, and we introduce Java. So you have Python, assembler, and then Java. Everyone takes CS 101. It's just a 1-credit course where you get introduced to other faculty members and all the opportunities that are available in computer science. I always recommend we do a writing course and a math course. Some students come in with writing, then they can combine it with other things. Science and gen eds. There's not, in those courses, if you decide to change majors, are applicable in other majors or for double degrees. Sometimes students come in with lots of APs. What? Oh. Students come in with lots of APs or in a lot of computing, then they can maybe skip ahead. Sometimes rare, but students do graduate early and they could jump ahead in computer science courses. Okay. The most important thing is after the first year is the other courses you're going to take. Algorithms is the study of how you write how you communicate a step-by-step procedure. We have automata theory. That for those of you who've heard of Alan Turing, the highlight of that course is you start studying Turing machines. Then on the very practical side, but less theoretical, is operating systems, where you actually understand how the operating system works. And that course is very project-based. We have process design, that's our architecture course, and programming language design, where you learn alternative programming paradigms as well as why programs work the way they do or how they're designed. And of most interest to most students is the electives that you take starting in junior or senior year. We have a wide variety from robotics to database, machine learning. We have artificial intelligence, architecture, all kinds of interesting courses that you take as an elective, including project management. Along the way, what makes up our degree very nice is that you also take a lot of non-CS courses and you have some free electives to take. In general, the skills you develop in our program will help you have a very successful career or advance to graduate studies. We have, I'm very pleased to have seen students go through our undergraduate program and now have PhDs and been very successful in industry and academics. Okay, so here's some
a little bit of some of the outcomes. Yeah, go ahead, take it away.
So you see Jordan and Henry, they are participants here. Out of the blue, someone came and told me, oh, they just won the Deloitte security contest. And I made them send me this very nice picture of the $4,000 they won. They also live in Core. It's very interesting, and they can introduce the other people on their team. Next one. Okay, now this is a very old picture because we've been doing hackathons for a very long time, and this was just a group that went to the Hack Princeton competition. Oh, the kids really had a great time. The other picture, we also have the ability to do co-ops. That is, you take the semester off and you get academic credit as well as salary. Or sometimes students don't even bother with the academic credit and take the semester off. And Alex here went to Tesla last semester, or actually this semester, and just worked there for the semester and is just going to come back next year. He also has done internships at Google. Okay. Now, the man in that picture sponsored our undergraduates, some of our undergraduates. He graduated, one of the early graduates of our program, and he works at Google and has sponsored the girls going to the Grace Hopper conference. And at the very top, if I was up there with a pointer, I would point. There are a couple of our alumni that met with our CS majors in computer science, including a couple PhDs. And if you notice right in the front there, there's Julie. And she had, her first internship was after her sophomore year, and she went to Canada. She went to Google in Canada. And she also took one semester off doing an internship at Google before she graduated. She was also a peer advisor. Okay. Now, in this was just this past fall. The people with the Google shirts are former alumni. One is Mr. Head in the back there. That's actually my son. He got a bachelor's in math and a bachelor's in computer science. And he lived in Core. He's one of the first students to live in Core. The girl on the left, that's Michelle. And she also did a double degree. She went to Microsoft, and then all of a sudden she popped up at Google in New York City. And the guy with the hair in the middle is just a sophomore, and he led that team of people, and they actually won first place at the Code Jam when Google came.
Awesome. No, that's great. And I know we're going to get into a lot of different opportunities here. And I want to hear from our current students about the projects they're working on. I'm going to stop sharing the screen for a second, and I'll let you all as students, chime in now. Maybe talk a little bit about your current work, the projects that you're doing inside of your CS degree, and then we'll get into internships in just a bit.
Oh, okay. So for the Deloitte contest, we basically had a friend who got the link from an SOM email, School of Management, since it was more aimed at them. It was sort of like a cross between management and CS type stuff. And the way it worked was you had to do this little online competition first with some multiple choice questions. And then there were some little project things that you had to download and find hidden flags. And then if you passed that, you got into the round 2 where they flew us to Texas and gave us free food and hotel room and everything. And then over there, there was basically 2 days where the first day, there was this like simulated cyber incident that you had to go through a file and find some evidence and figure out what happened. And then you had to present on that the next day. So we went there not really expecting to win. And then we ended up somehow coming second place. Henry can talk more about it.
Yeah, all in all, it was some of the people around us, like there were a lot of other really competitive CS schools. That was like Carnegie Mellon, James Madison University, like BYU. And so we were like, yeah, we're just kind of here to get free food and have a good time, get some experience with like this cyber stuff, because we haven't done a ton of that. And, just have a good time in general. And, turns out we won $1,000 each. So like, it was a good time.
That sounds like the Binghamton spirit. You go in with that great mentality, you have the skill sets, and you just bring it together in a collaborative way and you figure it out. And I like that blend between 2 different schools at Binghamton, which is an interesting way of looking at it, of how that information gets shared. I know a number of you are involved in different things. It was brought up, I think you had mentioned CORE, the computer and robotics and engineering learning community. So if a couple of you want to talk about CORE, and then we'll go into a couple other groups like HackBU in just a second.
Michelle, aren't you the head of CORE?
Yes. So CORE is a living learning community. Three of us are on it, me, Jordan, and Henry. And basically it's a community where students who are interested in computing and engineering all kind of live together, and there's a CORE class where you do a CORE project. And it's just a really good environment. A lot of things like that will happen where kind of for fun, people will be like, hey, we should probably sign up for this competition. It seems fun. We'll see how far we get. And then they get flown out and win. So there's that. It's just a really fun community. I don't know. Henry, Jordan, if you guys want to say anything about your experiences on CORE.
It's definitely a good place to find mentors, and like there's always seniors around and there's always people doing CS stuff. So you can always get help with your homework, and then when the seniors graduate, they give you referrals to companies. So it's good to find other CS majors, but it's also really important to interact with non-CS majors and people outside of CORE.
And I'm just going to throw out something to our attendees. Definitely keep those questions flowing into the Q&A box. If we see something that could be a good one for a live answer, we'll try to get that answer live. We have the chat hour right after this. I don't want to talk core right now. Anything on?
Yeah, we should do HackBU. and
Yeah,
we-
HackBU is next on my mind. Go ahead. Who wants to take away HackBU?
I'll do it. So I'm the president of HackBU this year. So basically, HackBU has two components to it. The most famous part is the hackathon that we run. So every year in February, we get a whole bunch of CS majors. This year we had 320 or so, and we just bring them down to the ITC, and we basically give them a bunch of free swag, a bunch of free food, and we're like, okay, you have 24 hours, show us what you can build. And everyone comes in, and it's literally, you have 24 hours from start to finish to code something out completely from scratch. And it's a really great way to like just do that project you've always had on the back burner. In my sophomore year, I actually came with a bunch of people who had never been to a hackathon before, and we ended up winning first place somehow. And there's also a lot of like prize money. So this year we had about $7,000 worth of prize money. So it's a really great way to, number one, get free stuff like a HackBU shirt like this, get free food, get a lot, like potentially a lot of money. I think some people ended up getting close to like $600 per person this hackathon. And it's also a really good opportunity to get something to put on your resume. So if you get like a prize winning award at a hackathon and you can put on your resume, they'll make you much more competitive when going for internships in your junior year. On a yearly basis, we do weekly workshops where we do stuff like Python, machine learning, data science, web scraping, all that fun stuff. So basically what I say is if you want to learn stuff that you're actually going to be using in industry instead of like grinding leak code, come to HackBU.
So I think the top prize, the top teams may have actually taken home 800 apiece. I think it maybe, it was ridiculous this year, but my freshman year, I came with a group of all girls and we made this really cool project and we won a prize. It's actually these earbuds that I'm using right now. But I'm a HackBU organizer now, and it was really fun to put on this giant hackathon for so many people. There were so many cool projects. Like this one group made text to ASL, where you gave it text and it output a video of the ASL for the text you put in. It was amazing to see what people came up with.
Oh, we should also talk about our other club, which is ACM.
Hey, so I'm Jordan, and I was the president of ACM up until end of last semester, and Henry's going to be the president for the next year, although he's going away for an internship, so that's going to be a little strange. We do weekly workshops. We try to focus on more algorithm-y focused content and also just cool CS topics. So like we've done things with graphics, we've done things with like large scale computing, and we try to just do like sort of niche CS topics that you might not encounter going through the standard CS curriculum. And we also focus a little bit on interviews and preparing people for internships. So we generally have around 3 competitions a semester. This semester is a little weird, obviously. And those competitions are basically, there's like 6 programming questions, and you have to write a solution that's fast enough to make it through all the test cases. And that's done. We have like pizza, and then there's prizes for the winners. Sometimes we also have team competitions. And we also have been doing a new thing recently where we do mock interviews. So if you want to get ready for your internships, then you can come and interview with someone who's done a lot of previous interviews to try and prepare more for those.
Great. I know some of you mentioned the other areas of study you have. And just for our current or admitted students, can you shed some light on that process that you went through? If it was a double degree or a double major option, if you want to talk a little bit about that and how you went about figuring that out and pursuing that coursework.
I can talk about the double degrees and stuff. So I came in as a computer science major in Watson, and I had some AP credits for Calculus 1 and 2. So I was trying to figure out what math to take freshman year, and Eileen just told me to take Calc 3, why not? So I took that, and then I found that Calc 3 didn't specifically, wasn't required for computer science, so I decided to get a math major so that it wasn't wasted. So it went into something. I mean, it's never wasted. All knowledge is good to learn. But so to do that, I ended up doing a math BA in Harper, which just required going down to the math office and filling out a form for intra-university transfer so that I was in both Harper and Watson, and then to go down to the math office again and declare a major in Harper. But the math office has like both of the forms and was able to point me in the right direction. It just took 2 forms and a little bit of waiting, and so it's a dual degree in 2 different schools.
Anybody pursuing a minor track, or at least enough coursework to really pursue what would look like a minor, but just following your passions, this is a good opportunity to share about the Binghamton.
What about Colin? He did history.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I mean, I came in with 32 credits from APs, and I had to take summer courses online, which are honestly, if you can get a course out of the way online, definitely do it. They are way easier than in person. But yeah, it's if you plan out your schedule a lot, it's doable. But you might have, depending on the major, because there's a lot of overlap with math. There's essentially no overlap between CS and history, so I had to basically take all 10 major required courses for history at Binghamton.
Yeah, and it's a very common thing that you mentioned, Colin. A lot of our students will have some level of college credit, AP or IB or community college level credit coming into Binghamton. And back to that point I mentioned a little earlier, as a university, we try to make sure that you have that credit underneath your belt where you can really start exploring, dive a little deeper, even again, outside of computer science, where that really enhances your degree in the long run. You look at many of our alumni who have some pretty good high-level leadership roles. A lot of that has to do with not just their technical ability and their understanding, and as Eileen had mentioned, the math background there, but their ability to communicate what they know. And that's where you'll start to see that Binghamton stretches beyond just the engineering and technical side, giving you that, of course, but the ability to start exploring other areas of skill sets and interests that you have. I know I saw a question come in earlier about the outcome side, and computer science itself, the degree, is a highly valuable degree across this nation and well beyond, right? And by valuable, I mean, yes, it certainly comes, generally speaking, with one of the highest starting salary options. It's usually north of that, $90,000 range into that 6-figure range for starting salaries. And again, the versatility of the Binghamton degree is that you don't just have a CS degree, you have a liberal arts core to that allows you to keep growing with that, right? Beyond just the technical side. So those are things I wanted to put out there, as I know are thoughts on a lot of your minds, but Professor Head might want to share a little bit about, it's not just about that starting salary that you're going to go through. So go ahead.
Some students know exactly what they want to do. They go out, they get a job. Others are roaming around the United States now. They graduated in December, like Tanner. Students do a lot of things, and when they're ready to go forward, they have those technical skills. One of my former students, she's very interested in social justice. She did a study abroad. She had a double degree English and CS, and she went and she worked for like nonprofits, and then she realized, oh, I want to do something else. And now she was one out of, let's see, I think they had about 500 out of 2,000 or 3,000 or 5,000 applicants to Duke Law, and she's currently pursuing a degree in law, and she's using her computer science and social justice. So no matter which way people go, there's a lot of opportunity for them to take technology and apply it to other fields. Currently, we have one student who did a double degree with 3 majors: CS, math, and political science. And I'm hoping he'll be able to make a contribution into studying these problems with, with Google and these other social platforms spreading false information. So, all those things are real important. I noticed that there was a question about study abroad. I'm sorry I don't have any panelists here that did a study abroad, but every year I have students do study abroad. I've had people go to South America, Australia, England, trying to think. There's a lot of places they go, and it's pretty easy. We can work it out. Germany, I certainly had students go to. Sometimes they'll take a CS elective over there, or maybe they're gen eds. Anything else you want to know?
Yeah, so a question that comes up, and this is really for our students, what is maybe your favorite course? That's question one, and you can follow it with question two, or just answer one of these. What was the most difficult course that you've been through so far, and how did you overcome that?
Okay, yeah, so I would go with probably CS 440 or 447, which those classes are Advanced Object-Oriented Programming and High Performance Computing. And they're with this professor, Kenneth Chu, who's really just one of the best professors at Binghamton. He just has a great way of explaining things. And also just the content that you explore in those classes is pretty cool. For the high performance computing one, the final project was that we had to implement a neural network from scratch. So without using any libraries, just in C or C++, which really helps you. The professor really likes diving into the low level of how things are implemented, which is pretty fun. Are we also doing the most difficult course, or should I just
Yeah,
pass
you
to
can
someone
take it
else?
away unless somebody else wants to talk about a
Let
difficult
someone else talk now.
and how you came over.
I'll go for it. My favorite class was personally CS 110 because I came into Binghamton University with absolutely zero programming experience. And this is where I really learned how to write a single line of code. I ended up also being a course assistant for the class for like 6 semesters afterwards. And if you have it with Stephen Moore, you are very fortunate because he is by far the best professor I've had at Binghamton University. And he genuinely, like I see this behind the scenes, he is the most caring instructor I've ever seen. In terms of difficult, I would probably align my answer with Jordan. I would have to say it's between advanced object-oriented programming or high-performance computing, both coincidentally classes taught by Ken Chu. But yeah, those are definitely take a class with Ken Chu. That guy is the smartest man I think I've ever met at Binghamton University.
I think I'll just chime in too. So my favorite course was CS 240, which is object-oriented programming. And it's so nice that I really had the opportunity to understand this course because it is the most important for interviews. I did some technical interviews when I was interviewing for internships last semester, and pulling out my CS 240 knowledge was the best. And I passed all my interviews too. And my hardest non-CS course, or my hardest course overall, was Greek and Roman architecture. I don't want to explain anything else. And my hardest CS course was probably CS 320. So there's 120, 220, and then 320. And I kind of struggled a bit with 320. But the paying attention in the other courses definitely helps you as you go up.
And this is a question that does come up often, especially for our different schools at Binghamton. The Watson School of Engineering and Applied Sciences is a college within a college in the university. Do you feel that you just know only other Watson students, or do you have friends outside of your majors?
I would say definitely not. I was really interested in biology my first 2 years here, so a lot of my friends are like neuroscience majors and bio majors just through like the experiences I had reaching out to the bio professors to work with them and like understand about the different majors there. So I definitely think there's opportunity to talk to other people. And there are also people from different schools who like take occasionally like CS classes. So you meet different people from different majors.
Yeah. Shania, can you tell them a little bit how you got involved with the research in biology?
Definitely. So I met Benny May. He was an alumni when I was doing like this open house as an incoming student. And we kind of just like, I got his contact initially, but then Eileen told me about how he did bio research in the in this neuroscience lab that studies taste in fruit flies. So I reached out to him and I just wanted to get an idea of what was going on there. And he actually like hooked me up with like a sweet like data analyst spot there. So from there I met like a bunch of really cool people in neuroscience, biology, and even psychology. So it's definitely like the most interesting job I've had here.
Also, just real quick, there are plenty of clubs you can do to meet people not in computer science whatsoever. Like I did ballroom dancing for a semester and it was a wonderful time.
I did Kung Fu Club, which also doubles as a D&D group, and it's been a great way to meet a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that everybody should be aware of, that when you bring in 14,000 students from all over the world with a lot of different interests, yes, you'll meet other CS students, but you're going to meet people with a lot of different talents and interests. And that's part of the experience of what you get to explore at a residential college, right? When the weekends roll in, you might be at a Hack BU competition, but everybody's there, right? And you're connected. There's not a commuting aspect to your day and your life at Binghamton. And that's where you start to see the magic of all these bright minds kind of coming together. There was a question posted in the chat about when you hit those roadblocks or those stumbling blocks. How do you overcome some of the challenges in the courses? Maybe seeking a tutor, professor's office hours. Anybody want to talk about that experience of navigating through the difficulties when you get into those tough parts of your classes?
Yeah, I guess I can speak to this and anyone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of the fellow CS students here are very nice. Like we all work together. Like sure, there was a small sense of competitiveness of like, oh, my algorithm's like faster than yours, but we all, at the end of the day, we all help each other out, and we're all suffering in the same computer labs. So
And I've got to say, that's my favorite part about Binghamton Computer Science, is that people are all so connected. I walk into a room and I'm comfortable with 80% of the people there. I have people knocking on my door, texting me 2 hours before our deadline is due. And like, that's just a really big part of Binghamton Computer Science for me, is that we're all in this together. We've got our group chats, and we definitely have like a nobody's left behind mentality between us. Professors are really helpful too, but at 2 a.m., sometimes it's the students that are the most helpful.
Can I just chime in? It's not just the current students, it's our alumni. Michelle got a summer opportunity to do security and learn about security at a boot camp. And that was introduced to our students via our alumni coming here and recruiting, just like the Google and just like Benny May. So it's not just current students, it goes a long history of the life of our program.
Benny May got my internship for this summer too.
I love the intimate sound of this program. I know we bring in 70 or so incoming students in that cohort, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but the way those connections run deep, this is great to hear. So thank you for sharing some of that. I know some of our attendees or friends of our attendees who are tuning in right now might not be in computer science, may have been thinking about computer science. Maybe they were admitted to computer science, but not quite sure if they want to stick with it. And I know everybody on screen is in CS. Well, a little bit just how this process works. Obviously, to start in CS, to be in the CS coursework, you got to be in the program. Some undecided students will find a way into it down the line. That's called an intra-university transfer. Even if you were started off in, say, Watson engineering side, there's the opportunity to work with our Watson advising team, and it's based on space availability, right? So if there's a spot that opens in CS, we can move a student in, and that's sort of how that works. The admissions office we have chat hours all throughout the day on any given weekday, as well as you can reach out to us through email during these times. We could walk you through the process of what that really looks like, but I'm glad you're getting a sense for the program. Now, the other side of this is, and I think a lot of you some of you at least touched on it, is that when you're at Binghamton, again, this idea of exploring different areas of study while you're an undergrad student, this is not a race to graduate in 4 years. You will graduate in 4 years. We were very proud of making sure our students get that opportunity, to all of them, to start off right away and be able to graduate in 4 years. But I want to encourage you to explore even well outside of your core area of interest now. And if CS is something on your mind and you're not in the program from the start, definitely double in on the math side. That's a big component there, and that would be your first starting point. And the same thing, if you're starting in CS but you're not quite sure if you want to stick with it, that's why you're in it in the beginning. Try it all out, see what it's all about, and know that you could always add on to your degree, particularly with what Harper College offers. And I'll make the other side of this plug, right? Some of you are already thinking about where that master's degree might be. There are many different accelerated degrees. So when I was an undergrad, I studied mechanical engineering, and I knew within that 4-year window I wanted to get a master's degree. It became a master's in business in 1 additional year through our School of Management. So you have some flexibility to start exploring. You don't have to know this day one of your first year. But you'll see, like our current students here, that collaborative environment, beyond just being a support network, is like really an idea network. You'll start to see what other students are doing, upperclassmen students, what they have accomplished, and maybe that will help you find that path early on. Before we get ready for that last couple minutes, I'm going to post a link into our chat for all attendees to see. It's a link to a Zoom chat hour that will follow up right after this, where you can go have some one-on-one or group chats, face-to-face, Zoom-based. It's a Zoom meeting, so I'll post that link and give us a couple minutes to get over there. But would anybody like to share some advice and some tips? I mean, obviously, you know, you've all made it. Congratulations on your acceptance here, but we want to make sure that you have some good advice going forward. And I'm going to post a link right in the chat box right now.
I guess general advice, don't be shy to apply to things that you want. Like, I know it's hard to apply to something that you think you might not get. And it's a very common thing with a lot of freshmen and internships, but still apply, because the worst that can happen is like they say no, but that's basically it.
I think a common one I see is imposter syndrome is a real thing, so just be mindful of it, because if you're mindful of it, it's easier to combat it.
Yeah, Colin, and just explain that for some of our students who are, they kind of think they know what you're saying.
Sure. So imposter syndrome is basically like when you're in a class and everyone seems way smarter than you are and way more confident, way more employable, and you're like, oh God, I'm a moron. And you're basically sad, and it's not the case. If you got into Binghamton, you are as qualified as your peers to be here. So just realize when you're falling into that spiral and know how to reassure yourself that that is not the case.
Also, just in general, at my internship over the summer, during orientation, they asked the room to raise their hand if anyone had had imposter syndrome. 95% of the room raised their hand. Like, this is a fairly common thing in CS in general, not just at Binghamton University. It's something that I think a lot of us face.
Thank you, Henry. And actually, that reminds me, if anybody wants to talk a little bit about their internships right now, or if Eileen, if you want to add in some of the great internships you've seen come through. Any students right now want to talk about their internships and what it's leading you towards? Again, that was one good example there, Henry.
Yeah, sure. I'll talk. Last year over the summer, I was an intern at Google. And this year over the summer, I'm interning at Acuna Capital, and then I'm taking the fall semester off to intern at Google again. And it's really cool because over the summer last year, I was a developer for the Linux kernel. So like, there are lines on GitHub that say like, Henry Burns authored and Linus Torvalds committed. So like, it's just really cool that you can impact like really big things, you know?
And I just want to say, I didn't start at Google, and I still did not feel like I fell behind. I was at a small health insurance company in Rochester, New York last summer, which is where I'm from. And I still had a great time, made very valuable connections. And this summer, I'm going to be interning with Bloomberg.
I'm the sophomore, and last year as a freshman, I got an internship at the Air Force Research Lab in Rome, New York, which is about an hour north of where I live, which is Syracuse, New York. And it was a great time. Got to it's neat, like seeing what it's like to work for the government and to do code for that. And it was great. And I got a great reference letter from the director of the lab, who also went to Binghamton, and that helped me get an internship at NASA this coming summer.
Someone said, are most internships paid? Yes, and they're very handsomely paid as well. Yeah, I guess I can speak about my internship. This summer, or last summer, I interned at Capital One in Richmond, Virginia, and it was basically just doing data engineering work, which I had absolutely no experience with. And this is Eileen's favorite part to talk about the CS major. We teach you we don't just teach you computer science, we teach you how to learn computer science, because self-learning is the most important skill you will learn in computer science.
Shania.
Yeah, so I also interned at Capital One last summer. The year before that, I interned in Bangladesh for Indoshore. And as I'm graduating now, I'm going to be returning to Capital One for full time.
Okay, Jordan.
Go ahead, Jordan.
Oh, sorry, one sec. I was just opening the other link. I interned at Bloomberg my sophomore year, and then I went to Microsoft for my junior year, and I'm going back to Bloomberg for full time. And my work at Microsoft wasn't like the most world-changing work. I was like on the licensing team making a little framework to make it easier to clean up some databases. But I met a really nice group of people there and had a great summer, and we went on a lot of hikes, had a lot of adventures. So I would say sometimes it's just important to remember that at an internship, the work is important, but also really just like who you meet there can be as important, I would say.
You just got a nice shout out from one of our attendees about the difficulty in getting those internships, Capital One and Bloomberg. So great work. And frankly, I mean, great work to all of you as students who got into Binghamton. Of course, our current students who've already been here. And congratulations on that. We're jumping over to chat hours right now. As you can see, some are already there. We'll meet you over there if you have any questions you want to work with us on. We'll have chat hours throughout the week. Definitely feel free to reach out to the admissions office, and we can exchange contacts after this via email. So awesome work, everybody. We're going to end this meeting now, and we'll see you in chat hours.